Hi, my name is Dr. Matt Horn, and I'll be your instructor for this class this semester. My contact information will be posted on this page or somewhere close by, and I want you to be sure to take advantage of email and my phone number if you feel you need to call me or text me. I'm also happy to set up individual meeting times with you on Zoom or Google Teams or any other video sharing platform so that we can have a face-to-face conversation online if you ever feel like you need that. And I just want to again emphasize that I don't mind if you call me or text me, but because I probably don't know who you are for your first phone call, I won't recognize the number. Please leave a message if I don't pick up, and give me your name and what class you're in, and I'll call you back as soon as I can. Texting as well. Just make sure you let me know who you are, and usually I can respond within a couple hours, within a day at the most. Especially with phone, it'll be easier. But sometimes I leave my phone on a table or something for an hour or two or three. So don't be offended if I don't respond right away. But I'm happy to communicate with you any way that you feel comfortable communicating with me. And sometimes a 5-minute phone call, a couple of texts really clear something up if you need that. As far as the work in this class, I'm going to make sure that everything that is 4 points in this class and everything related to that, so instructions, examples, lectures if lectures are involved, I mean basically everything, okay, is going to be online for your convenience. That way you can always work on the class when it's fitting for you. No documents will get lost. I've been teaching for a couple of decades now, and it's a horrible experience for a teacher to lose a pile of papers. And way back when, I've done that a couple times. So it's wonderful to have everything online. Now, if you're taking this and it has been listed as an online class, then obviously we're not going to be meeting anywhere in a classroom together physically. As an online class, we may or may not have set meeting times. It just depends how the class was designed and presented for you in the schedule of classes. But so, if you're meeting and doing this as an online class, what I just said is just kind of common sense, right? But if you are taking this class as a land class and it has a certain classroom and a certain time of the week that you need to be there, I will be there as well to discuss things with you. But again, all the actual assignments and lectures and audio clips and web links and all that, video lectures, they're going to be online in this learning management system so that you can be able to work on all that content whenever and wherever you need to. All right, and if you do come to the physical classroom, if you have enrolled in this class as a land class, then you need to know that within 1, 2, or 3 weeks at the most of the semester, I show up to that classroom to discuss ideas and questions that you have concerning the online information. So it's much more of a sit down, let's discuss things personally, one-on-one, two-on-one, three-on-one, whatever. You need to come to that class with questions if you are coming. How do I take attendance? For both my online classes and my LANDA classes, I simply look at what you are doing on the online version of the class. If you are checking in once a week, I can track that on my end. I can actually find you as an individual student and see how often you've logged in and for how long every week. If you are just doing that every week, and if your work is coming in on time, I'm going to be completely okay with that, and you're going to get perfect attendance. So it's not an issue at all for me if you are coming to this as a land class and all of a sudden you have to take 2 or 3 weeks off for work or for a sickness or for some sort of responsibility you have in your family. I want to work with you on that. And I want to make sure that you can stay up with the class online if you need to. Some of you might actually make the decision to just simply do this class online once you get comfortable with that. And if that works for you, it's going to work for me, because I want you to be able to be empowered to make that choice. Others, if you feel comfortable coming to class and just talking with me face to face in sort of a sit down round table sort of way, you're welcome to do that too. If this is an online class, obviously we're not going to be having a physical space to meet in. But if it's enrolled as a LAN class, then I'll be there when I should be on that time. And if someone shows up, I can work with them. If no one shows up, I'll do some work on my own for 15 or 20 minutes, and then probably I'll go. But you know, I'm there to meet with you if you want to come in. All right. Again, the only thing that matters for me is really if you are ready to learn and this kind of works for you and you grow as a writer, that's wonderful. And I could probably help you a little bit more in that way. But others, I mean, sometimes you're just trying to get the class done and make a good grade and focus on other things. And maybe you don't feel like you want to come in or need to come in. And I want to work with you too. That's fine. You make the decision as long as you understand the, you know, what it entails and how you need to stay up on things online, right? So whether you're a LAN or online class, as far as how it's registered in your schedule of classes, all of the work for everyone is going to be online. Some of you will have the opportunity to come see me at a certain classroom based on your schedule if you want to. All right. So as far as the class points, you know, the whole class is 100 points. And I think that makes it easy on all of us so that you know where you stand, because you can just track those points. And as the first week turns into the second, and the second into the third, and we keep on just moving forward towards the middle and then the end of the class, your sum of points earned, you know, will be growing. And you know, pretty soon you're going to end up with 85 points, 90, 95 points, and that just tells you what your grade is, right? The class is out of 100 points, so if you have 95 out of 100 at the end, you have a well-earned day. Congratulations. So anything over 100, so you might actually do the math with all the assignments and realize, hey, wait a minute, there's 105 points. Well, those are going to be extra credit. So, you know, I'm simply going to look at the sum of points that you've earned at the end, and I'm just going to say that's your percentage grade, right? Because it's out of 100. Now, let me just make a comment about this. Sometimes the online version of the course might give you a percentage of how you are performing in the class. And so if you turn in an assignment worth 10 points and you get a 10 out of 10, you'll see that you have 100%. And then maybe next week you might, or the week later, you might turn in an assignment worth 15 points and you get 15 out of 15. That's 100%. You see what I'm saying? Well, that percentage point sometimes is simply a percentage of performance. That doesn't tell you what your grade is in the class. All right. Now it's kind of easy to see when you know you've just turned in your first assignment and you know there's 100%. Obviously, that's not telling you you have an A in the class. But as you get towards the end of the semester, it might be easy for someone to forget and to think that that percentage is actually your grade. Be very careful about that, because let's say you submitted 70 points worth of assignments, and for those 70 points you earn 60, 63 or 64. Oh, let's go 67. Okay, you know what? That's a solid A. Okay, in terms of percentages, right? Because 67 points out of 70 is, you know, 90, 95, 96%. But don't think that that's the final score in the class. Please remember that, because you still have only 67 points or whatever it was, right? And 67 out of 100 is definitely not an A. And I don't want you to have that horrible experience after I submit final grades of thinking that you had an A or a B or whatever, and really, you know, you only submitted 40 points worth of assignments and, you know, you got like 34 out of 40. Well, that's a solid B in terms of performance, but in terms of, because it's about 85%. But in terms of points earned, 36 points out of a 100-point class is an F. So please remember, it's just about tracking the points that you earn. All right, and try to get that to 100 points. Now, if any of you need a little more clarification on that, again, please just reach out an email or a phone call or whatever, and we can talk about that. Just as a note, I do accept late work. Okay. I don't recommend you let anything get late or too late, but I understand how life is as a college student, and some of you all are just tremendously busy and with a lot of responsibilities, and sometimes you need an extra week. So my basic rule of thumb is, hey, if you get it all in before the end of the course, then I'll grade it and I'll give you those points. Okay. It looks a little bad on your end if you try to get everything in the last 2 weeks. It's going to be very frustrating. It's going to be a big signal to me that you procrastinated most of the time, or that's reasonable for me to assume, right? I mean, you waited so long. But because if you do have a major emergency and you know you're going to be quite a bit late, I'm talking like a month late on stuff because you're in the hospital, or one of your family members is in the hospital, or there was a death, God forbid, in your close circle of people, family or friends, then that is completely understandable. And I'm going to work with you on that. But, I try not to let things get out of hand in terms of how late an assignment gets. Because, again, we're all busy. And in the moment, it always seems like a good reason to do it tomorrow, do it tomorrow, do it tomorrow. But before you know it, you're a month in and you haven't turned in anything. That's not good. So what I do is I provide due dates in the work folders. All right. And so all of my assignments are in 8 work folders. And at the very front of it all, you'll see those folders, and the folders will have a due date right on the folder. It'll say everything in this folder is due on a certain date. You open it up, there might be 6 things in there. So it's all due on a certain date. Obviously, you can submit them early, which I would do, so that you can stagger them, right? Submit one in a couple days, work on the next one, submit it in a couple days. But you usually get 10, 15, 20 days per work folder. And what I have those due dates there because I really want to suggest to you sort of a way to organize your semester and to make to schedule the work so that you're never caught in a situation where you have all these assignments that are just weighing you down, and they're getting later and they're growing in number, and that's a very stressful situation. So I would highly recommend that you schedule out the work and try to follow my due dates. I think that's a pretty good strategy, just to manage the workload, But also remember, if you are late with something, it's still worth submitting it because I'm probably going to give you the points that you earned on it. So I do accept late work. One very important thing you need to know, and then I'll close this video so that you can watch others and get started in the class, is how I grade essays. Okay, so this is a writing class. Obviously, you're going to write some essays for me. I have a lot of students, a lot, because I am not full-time anywhere. I've been teaching for like a long time, 25 years, something like that. And, I do have my doctorate. I've published articles. I've worked on editors and books. I've worked as a main editor at a journal, all sorts of experience. But for whatever reason, I initially did not ever land a full-time job. And then I got to the point where I actually didn't want a full-time job in higher education because of certain reasons concerning politics, concerning student loans. I never want to be in a situation where I feel like 50% of my salaries are coming from student loans. So adjuncting is a weird sort of world. We're freelancers. I'm not full-time anywhere. I don't get benefits from any school. The job security is horrible. All right. We have only 3-month contracts, and then technically the school might never hire us back again, and there's not a thing we can do about it. So the only way you can make a living as an adjunct is if you work at 2, 3, 4, or even 5 schools in the area. So I'm working at 4 right now, and maybe in the fall I might be working at 5, which means I'm traveling a lot. I also work for 3 nonprofits. It's a busy life, but but all that being said is I have, when I have maybe 200 students I'm dealing with, there are certain ways I have to approach grading, writing, and papers. So what I do is I try to be as fair as I can, and I take a holistic approach, okay, in the essay itself. So let's say you submit an essay to me, okay? The essay is probably going to be 10 points, 9 points, 6 points, something like that. The reason for that is I very easily and quickly can accurately tell what is a 10, what is a 9, what is a 7, what is an 8, what is a 6. If I make them out of 100 and I assign one student a 95 and another one a 93, I better be able to explain how that other person lost 2 points. And at that point, I'll have a rubric that's overly developed, and it doesn't help anybody. It looks good, but it forces me to be overly critical, and it's not good for you where you are as an author right now. Okay. I'd much rather step way back and just say, hey, I see it, and it's great, but it could be a little better, or it's good, but it needs to get, what, you know what I'm saying. So I do the holistic grading. And so the very first thing that you're going to get back once you submit an essay to me is you're going to get back simply a score. If it's 9 points, a 9-point essay, you might just get 9 out of 9. Or you might get 8 out of 8, 8 out of 9, or 7 out of 9, or whatever. Okay? But I'm moving through these at a steady clip, and I'm not going to put comments on them initially. The reason for that is I don't want to do work that a student might not be ready to receive. So in my long career of teaching, I know that there is a group of students that really is not going to care about my comments. Or maybe I didn't really see what they were seeing, and my comments are actually off the mark. Okay, that happens way more than you might think. Or maybe you think that, but we don't admit that. But sometimes those comments get off the mark. So what I want to do is give you the score first, and then if you are somehow not satisfied with that score, I'm waiting for you to self-identify yourself and to reach out to me and say, hey, Dr. Horn, I want to do better on this essay. So you gave me a 7 out of 9. What can I do to get those 2 points back? You can call me, or you can text me, or you can email me. All right? And then at that point, I know that you want some feedback so that you can improve that paper, and I will give you those comments verbally. I'll talk to you about them, and I'll say, here's how I fix it. If you would rather email me, what I'll do is I will ask you for a copy of the essay. You can just put it right in the email. Don't worry how it looks. I'll just read it. And then I'll record a voicemail, attach it to the email, send it to you. That way you can see the essay and hear what I'm saying over and over and over again, and you can fix the essay. Resubmit it, I'll regrade it, you get a better grade. And we'll do that as many times as you want until you get the grade you want. Now, if you don't want to revise, you don't have to. But for every essay that I have, if you feel like you don't want to leave a point on the table or whatever and you want to make it better, you're welcome to revise 2, 3, 4, 5 times. It doesn't matter to me. As long as we can work together like that. You get initially just the score. If you want to, you can reach out to me, ask me for what I thought and how I would fix it. I'll give you that information. You go back, rewrite, resubmit, I regrade, and we can keep on going like that. All right? So please don't think that I do not want to discuss your work with you, or that I'm not interested in giving feedback. It's just the opposite. I'm interested in giving core feedback to those that are ready to hear it, that really want to work on that, and you know, I just find it saves everybody time, and it satisfies the vast majority of students. If you don't want comments, that's fine. And if you're happy with that grade, that's fine. If you do, then it really encourages you, it sort of forces you to begin a conversation with me. And that's the best way writing is taught, is just sitting down with one person and having a one-on-one conversation about their writing. That's the very best way writing is taught. And that's how I'm going to do it. So I hope that's okay with you. Hey, thanks for watching the video. I have others that I want you to watch. It's good for you to hear me, to see me. It kind of makes you feel like you kind of know me a little bit more, and you know, I think that's great. So have a great semester. I hope your other classes go well. Please understand, I'm here to give you the best experience possible in English. But in the big picture, that means things like trying to kind of sense where you are as a person, kind of understand what you want, kind of sense your skill set, and trying to figure out how to help you take your next step. Not the class as a whole. You're so unique. You have a certain step you need to take, and others have a step they need to take. And I just kind of need to try to figure that out without doing you any harm. Okay? So I think I can help quite a few, and hopefully I won't harm any in the class.